all tied up, and this first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great spot.
Hello and welcome to the 2025-2026 APTA Tour. We're live from the Arapahoe Tennis Club in Cherry Hill Village, Colorado, bringing you the 2025 Rocky Mountain Throwdown with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corian. Tournament support has also been provided by the following local sponsors: Bank of Colorado, Merchants & Co., Valvoline, Denver Beer Co., The Pickler, and Xenon Paddle. I'm Dave Broderick, along with Wendy Spiz, and we are bringing you men's quarterfinal action between Peter DeHaan and Eric Fay, taking on Ozzy Benitez and Jose Miguel Castro. Our chair umpire for this match is Sam Gaffinet. Wendy, welcome to the booth, and how are things going so far? Who you've been watching in the tournament today?
Fantastic. We've got a gorgeous day here in Denver. I'm happy to be here commentating with you, Dave. Thanks for having me along.
Also, just to remind everyone that it will be best 2 out of 3 sets with no ad scoring, with the server getting the choice to where they would like to serve. So that always adds a new twist to all of these things. We see that the players are warming up on the court. Wendy, you want to let everybody out there know who's who on the court here?
Yes. On the near side here in the brown pants, we've got Eric Fay out of Telluride, Colorado, formerly on the East Coast and before that, and grew up in Chicago area with his partner, Peter DeHaan, on the deuce side of the near court and in the white cap. And why don't you tell us who's on the far side?
Let's see. On the far side, we have up at the net, we have Ozzy Benitez on the left-hand side in the black sweatpants, and his partner in the shorts is Jose Miguel Castro. And Benitez is the director of rackets at Middlesex Club in Darien, Connecticut, and Castro is the head pro at Middlesex Club in Darien, Connecticut. So it's going to be an interesting match. Wendy, these guys have played earlier this year. They played in the first round of the Chicago Charities with Benitez and Castro winning that one.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how this one shapes up. Maybe the altitude may have a little bit of a effect on this match.
Yes.
But it'll be interesting to see. In the previous round, DeHaan and Fay had a tough, long match. I think the match with Benitez and Castro was a little bit wasn't as difficult. I think they were on the court for not as long of a time, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it sounds like it was pretty one-sided in Chicago. I spoke with Fay and DeHaan before the match, and they're hoping to change a few things up in this match. But it is always interesting to see people come in and to Colorado and see how the altitude affects their ball. It tends to fly in the beginning, so this will be fun to watch.
So we may have to give a slight advantage to DeHaan and Fay. Get it there. They're a little bit more accustomed to the elements.
Adjusted to it, you're right. Yeah, this will be fun.
And again, it'll be always interesting to see. You know, new this year we have the no ad scoring at deuce with the server picking which side they're serving to. So that's always interesting to see how that impacts the matches.
Yeah, what's been the feedback on that so far, Dave? It's certainly shortening the matches. I've watched quite a few from the previous tournaments.
I think it's short. Yeah, no, it's shortening the matches. It's making a little bit more exciting, I think. You know, you definitely see that it does have an effect on the match where one set a team will win 3 of the points, the next set the other team, might win 3 or 4 deuce points, and next thing you know, it's, we're in a third set.
Okay, players ready. Eric Fay to serve.
All right, so this is Eric Fay going to start out the match serving. I think, Wendy, early on, I think, like most matches, I think it's going to be a feeling out process for everybody. Again, they have played one another, but as far as I can tell, this is Benitez and Castro's first event out in Colorado. So again, they might be still getting used to the weather conditions and the altitude. And you see Fay coming out there really early on, pulling out a good cut overhead.
Yes. You can tell he's moving the ball around really well with various shots, trying to feel it out, see what's going to work with these guys. Oh. Good pick up off the neck there.
Ozzy, that's a sick out, man. Thank you, man. That was stellar. That's a great one.
Stop 15.
Big forehand there by Benitez. There we see an example of maybe the altitude getting the best of them.
I think the lobs certainly takes a bit of adjusting to see how far it's going to go. I mean, it's no different than when you're adjusting from warm weather to the cold weather, but the altitude, it takes a bit to recalibrate.
Yeah, and I think if you're, we saw a couple of early misses on lob from Benitez and Castro, and they're a solid team. So you're going to see, I think, they're going to make adjustments quickly and realize that, they're better off missing short and getting a second chance than lobbing long. And you see here right early on, Eric Fay's been hitting a lot of the overheads for the team of Fay and DeHaan. You have Peter DeHaan up there in the white hat backwards on the right-hand side, and, he's really hugging the net, taking too many overheads. Kind of got away with spiking one there. We see how tight to the net DeHaan is.
Well,
and right away we see that they switch again, getting Eric Fay back there hitting the overheads.
Yes, he's certainly controlling the point. And we know that Benitez and Castro are going to be very patient, very steady, but when they do pull the trigger, it's going to be quick.
And I think it's going to be similar with Fay hitting the overheads there. We saw him miss one earlier on. That he's going to have to be patient and just as long as Benitez and Castro are not hurting him, he doesn't have to try to do more than kind of what's required. At this level, you don't want to give away free points.
No. I think DeHaan got in a little bit of trouble on a couple of those overheads, a little too hard.
Yeah, and You saw Castro has a pretty big forehand coming out of that deuce corner. You know, and he's hit it a couple times early on here. All right, and we have Ozzy Benitez to serve here. Wendy, this is one of the 15 stops on the APTA Tour this year. The tour is made up of 15 different events and 5 Grand Prix. We've already had the Chicago Charities. We've already gone through the Aronimink Open in Philadelphia. The next Grand Prix coming up will be the Boston Open in January 23rd, followed by Short Hills, and then the Midwesterns with the Nationals finishing up in Canubra Country Club in Summit, New Jersey, March 6th to 8th this year. So, you know, again, we remind everyone out there, really good blitz there. We remind everyone out there, there's a lot of platform tennis live stream events for everyone to participate in, to come out and watch, to watch the live stream. So, a lot of activity for the platform tennis fans.
30, 15.
I think Eric Fay would like to get that one back.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, it was a great setup by DeHaan, and he wants that.
And you see from the baseline, Fay's moving around a lot. He's trying to create opportunities for himself. I think if you're Peter DeHaan, what you're looking to do here is, you know, again, try to not make many mistakes, hit good setup shots. You see a great shot there between the legs from Benitez.
Fantastic. Yeah, very, very well played by Eric Fay there, too. Well played.
You see good recognition there by Fay, getting it through them and, you know, kind of attacking on that previous one as well. And you see his movement up front from back to front from the baseline to the net is very quick. And so far, he's won the last couple of points with speed. Chance here for DeHaan and Fay to get back to 1-1.
Going out. White side.
So here we have the first no-ad point here.
Elected to serve to Eric Fay on this one.
Game. Benitez, Castro lead 2 games to love.
All right, Fay had a good look there, just hit a little too hard. We see some match statistics brought to you from Court Director. Still pretty tight. I mean, it's early on, but, you know, again, like I said earlier when we were talking about it at the start of the match, it's been interesting this year to see how the team with winning more of the deuce games, they're usually winding up ahead. We found that there's, you know, at least we've seen there's enough deuce games being played where it does have an effect on each set. Big forehand there by Castro. Wendy, Denver's one of the newer stops on the APTA Tour. How's the platform tennis community out there? How's the activity? I know I've been out there once before, and I know they have courts all the way up in North Boulder Rec Center. You guys are down more toward Cherry Hill. How's the activity out there? Is it growing? Is it
It
vibrant?
is really growing, and I mean it's been for years. They've got an amazing paddle community. It's a very tight community here because it's not so big. Everyone, all over the state that plays, has they're connected to each other somehow. So even Eric Fay down in Telluride, he runs the paddle camps with your brother, and Matt Puig has done such an amazing job here at Arapahoe Tennis Club. Sort of, ATC had been on the map for many years, and he's just doing a great job trying to build back up the tournaments. Kerry Hodges and Matt Cronick had been here in years past, and also just, it's just a really amazing community here, and people love to come out and support the sport. And, I think that the tougher thing, I've talked to other people, Patty Hogan and I were talking about it earlier, certain communities where it's a little smaller, it's hard to get the depth, and so you are more, it's more often you'll see people playing mixed, or we've got a great men's league, and nights, maybe 3 of the 5 nights are men's league, and the women's league maybe 2 nights a week. So it's really fun out here. It's just great people, and just an awesome community.
Well, I could tell everyone out there watching, if you're looking for somewhere to go and a beautiful setting, Denver is the place to go. All right, so we see here that
Little
Benitez and
communication break
Castro
down there.
jumped out to a 3-love lead here, first set.
Nice point.
New quarterfinal action from the Rocky Mountain Throwdown in Cherry Hill Village, Colorado.
Switching at the net there to get Eric back in position to control the overheads.
Yeah, I think that's the strategy I think they're going to play. That's the strategy I think they're going to stick with. And you see how close to the net DeHaan is playing to try to cut off any potential volleys that, he can reach.
Well played there by
You
Eric
see there,
Fay.
that was a great point, to exactly what you were going to say. That's a great point, but what I was going to add to that is it's just, the one thing right now, Benitez and Castro are just making it so hard for DeHaan and Fay to win points when they're at the net.
30-15.
Dave, what do you think Fay and DeHaan could be doing a little better at this point, or make some changes to adapt, try and get on the board here?
We always talk about, another deuce point here, keeping more balls in play, slowing it down. Again, I think part of the problem is, like you see there, just Benitez and Castro are just making it hard for DeHaan and Fay to win points. I think if they can keep more balls going, I wouldn't necessarily say move the ball around more, but, I think they just have to stick with it, be patient. Benitez and Castro just playing really well. And, there's an example as we talk about it. We definitely, your Faye and DeHaan, you have to, cut out the giveaway points.
Love 30.
I got it. Sorry. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, you see big spin there from Benitez.
15-40. Game. Benitez and Castro lead 5 games to love. The first set.
Wendy, Corian is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 2025-2026 season. Corian is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at Corian.com.
Wait, sorry. Yeah. Yo.
Wendy, like we talked about earlier on too, I don't know what major adjustments DeHaan and Faye can make right now. I mean, Benitez and Castro are not missing many shots. They're playing pretty solidly. I think this is a little bit going forward going to be an uphill battle, to say the least, if you're DeHaan and Faye. But, we've seen stranger things happen, and, there you see Benitez catching the nick on one there. Everything seems to be going their way.
Does, Dave. I think Castro and Benitez are just really controlling the tempo so well. And it's a rare error there, but as you were going to say, things were really going smoothly for them and controlling the tempo and not making many errors. I'd like to see DeHaan and Faye get their lobs a little bit deeper. They were, in the first couple games, we're moving them around a bit more, getting some different looks, trying to set up Eric's forehand in the middle there. So hopefully they can get back to a little deeper lob, push them back, and get a few more opportunities.
And I think at this stage of the game, what they're should be looking to do is, just to maybe build a little bit of confidence, maybe find something that might be working and kind of start all over again here in the second set. Wendy, the winner of this match takes on the winner of Regalado Salazar and Barris and Kranick, who are playing in one of the other quarterfinal matches as well. Tournament host and chairman, Matt Puig and Zach Ranger. They're also playing quarterfinalists in another match as well, against Crony and Fryer. And the winner of their match will take on Esenov and Coyne, playing against Broderick and Nunez. So a lot of action still to come from the Rocky Mountain Throwdown today.
Quite a few local names in that draw there in the quarterfinals. Fun to watch. You know, Matt again, Puig has just done a phenomenal job here with the program, and you know, has a lot of people coming out to support him.
Which I'll tell you what, as running tournaments while I've been doing this for many years, you know, it's I don't think people mind doing it as long as you get the support and you get people playing out. But anyway, Wendy, we'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming by CSM Media and match statistics provided by Court Director.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Dave Broderick here with Wendy Spiz at the Arapahoe Tennis Club with this quarterfinal match of the Rocky Mountain Throwdown between Peter DeHaan and Eric Fay taking on Ozzy Benitez and Jose Miguel Castro. And we're here in the start of the second set. At the bottom of the screen on the left-hand side in the blue shorts and shirt, we have Ozzy Benitez, and his partner in the gray pullover is Jose Castro. And up at the net with the white shirt and backwards white hat on the left-hand side of your screen is Peter DeHaan, and his partner who just hit that overhead with the beige, brown, golden colored pants is Eric Fay. So, Wendy, what do you think about that first set? What do you think there are some differences that DeHaan and Fay are going to have to make here?
Yeah, Dave, it's been a pretty one-sided match so far, but they're having good points. I like the way that DeHaan and Fay are continuing to try and work the points and open up to get some opportunities. But as you've mentioned before, Benitez and Castro just aren't going to make many errors, and so it puts a bit more pressure on DeHaan and Fay to hit some bigger shots, and I think we've seen a few too many errors in the second part of that set. So hopefully they'll change that around a bit here.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point to make, that, you know, when you feel like, you know, when your normal play, you're hitting shots that you normally win points, but when the ball keeps coming back, it does create frustration. It does make it, you know, harder to win points. You know, and it does force you to try to go for more and make mistakes. As we see here, some match statistics from Court Director. I mean, you see right there, Benitez and Castro have won 72% of the points.
Yeah, the service points one stands out to me. DeHaan and Fay, 3 of 19. That's we're going to have to switch that the other way to get them going here. So,
Yeah, no, and I mentioned that earlier that, you know, Benitez and Castro are doing a great job when they're on the baseline, just making it hard for DeHaan and Faye to win points.
yeah, what would you say with Benitez and Castro? Where would you say would quote be the safe spot on the court?
I don't know. After that, maybe let Castro serve a lot, making a fault. But unfortunately, he only gets to serve once every 4 games. You know, I don't really think there's a safe spot with them. You know, you obviously try to maybe get it over to Castro, his backhand. But again, they're doing a good job of lobbing, and they're being very patient, and you know, they're just making it tough to win points. And you know, we can have the best game plan in the world, but you know, Benitez and Castro is showing us that, you know, they're keeping a lot of balls in play, and they're playing really solid, not giving away points. Derek Faye blitzing there, putting a little pressure on. Wendy, I'm a big believer that, you know, when the team winning is playing really comfortable and, you know, they don't feel any pressure or they don't feel threatened to losing points, you know, it's kind of hard to beat them. So I think Faye and DeHaan here are going to have to go and, again, be patient, but they're going to have to put a little bit of pressure with maybe blitzing from Faye, forehands from DeHaan. But I think they're going to have to look to find ways to create some pressure. And as there, an overhead Nick winner from Castro.
Yeah, I love watching Castro's roller there. He just controls it. It's very hard to read which way he's going. It's a beautiful shot.
Great get there by Peter DeHaan off a really good serve.
Dave, I'd love to give a shout out to the membership here at Arapahoe. Really, really neat club. Great people. Support Matt Puig and the job that he's doing here. And they love this place and the history here. And, you know, love to see the tour back in action in Denver. It's really exciting for everyone.
Well, that's great to hear. You know, always want to hear areas growing, getting bigger, spreading the platform tennis word out there. And then obviously, it can't just all take place at one club. A lot of the local clubs, Denver Country Club, Village Club, you know, lending their courts out. So that also helps make great events. It's not just the host club all the time.
Absolutely. It's a great crowd out watching the #1 seeds this morning at Denver Country Club, and everyone was really excited to have this tournament in town.
And we see there DeHaan and Faye getting on the board. And Wendy, I think in the first round, our #1 seeds of Regalado Salazar played the
winners.
ETI 15+ champions from yesterday.
Yes.
Brian Aldanafi and Mike Furman were victorious. From the scores, I think the boys from Connecticut were celebrating maybe a little bit too much last night.
Either a little tired or a little too much celebrating, that's for sure.
That's it. That's it. And they were victorious over Levitt and Whining, and I think they're local guys from out in Colorado. Is that
Yes,
correct?
great guys. They were excited to play in the league out here. Kenny Levitt. He played tennis at Tufts. Good local men's group out here.
Game. Benitez and Castro lead 2 games to 1. They won the first set 6 games to love.
A little bit of a few too many mistakes there on the serve by DeHaan, but you know, again, and it sounds like a broken record, but you know, part of it is when you're struggling to win points, and because the other team, you know, sometimes it forces you to go for a little bit more than you have to. When, you know, I think there are times platform tennis is a game where when things aren't working out, you almost have to do the opposite and go for a little bit less, or try to do less just to keep more balls in play. That's a pretty nasty slash there by Ozzy Benitez.
That had to have felt good.
15 all.
And Wendy, you're pretty new to the Denver platform tennis scene yourself, coming from Chicago, no?
Yes, yes. My husband and I, we moved out here with our 3 kids 4 years ago. We had been in the Chicago area for 10 years previous to that, and out in California before that, so we seem to move around. But, oh, you can't beat the sunshine out here. I miss the Chicago paddle world. Great people. Really loved my community of paddle friends there, but it's been great to be out here. Our kids are loving it.
Yep, and I'm
Great
pretty
catch.
certain that you've played in several Short Hills Invitational events throughout the years, and I know you were a semifinalist in Darien, Connecticut with Heather Propp.
Yes,
2020.
yes. Great memories. Good times. Always loved the tournament in Short Hills. It was a favorite.
Benitez and Castro lead 3 games to 1.
All right, points won. We have DeHaan and Faye moving that number up just a little bit, but, you know, let's see if they can get another game here, maybe keep a little scoreboard pressure on Castro and Benitez. Really good two-handed backhand there by Eric Faye. Good volley by Castro, and you know, there was a little bit of an opportunity for Faye. And like we said, they're playing good points. It's just, you know, Faye and DeHaan are missing the last shot too many times. A little bit of bad luck there. DeHaan hitting the overhead out of the court.
Yeah, I think DeHaan's trying to work the waterfall there. I'd like to see him slow it down a little bit. It's coming off the screen a little too much in Benitez's corner.
Yeah, Benitez has gotten a couple of really good looks out of that corner with some attacking overheads and forehand. So as we see one there hitting through them.
Last 40.
Got jammed there with a forehand volley.
Castro lead 4 games to
Great
1.
return.
They took the first set 6 games
Wendy, I think, you know, always Orient, one of the tour sponsor. Big thank you to them. Also, the Bank of Colorado, Merchants and Company, Valvoline, Denver Beer Company, the Pickler, and Xenon Paddle. Thanking everyone for making the Rocky Mountain Throwdown possible and supporting a great event. Like we were talking about earlier today, just moments ago, there was a PTI 15+ tournament held yesterday, 32-team draw, so a lot of activity. Matt Puig getting a lot of players out there, getting them on the courts. See, Castro has a lot of spin on that serve, kicking it from the new side of the court all the way across the court.
Yeah, David, it'll be interesting to see how the temperature affects the ball as the day goes on as well. It tends to get pretty toasty here in the afternoons, and that ball gets pretty jumpy. So combine the altitude and the weather, and it comes off the screens. Gets a little more pop to it. So it's be interesting to see how everyone adjusts.
And I think Castro and Benitez are taking advantage of that more than DeHaan and Fay. You know, Benitez, Castro, Fay are all tennis instructors, directors, head pros. Peter DeHaan is not. He's a former bartender who his favorite shot is tequila.
What a great answer.
Just some fun facts for everyone out there.
Yeah, these DeHaan and Fay are old friends from growing up in St. Charles, Illinois. Good buddies, long history. Benitez and Castro are old friends as well, right? Don't they work together at Middlesex, correct?
They do in Darien, Connecticut. Wendy, if Castro and Benitez hang on to win this match, or if Fay and DeHaan can come back, they will in fact play the #1 seeds of Jose Salazar and Alvi Regalado in the semifinals. Beautiful shot there by Eric Fay. Would that be the turning point here? It got the crowd a little excited.
Let's hope so.
Castro says, don't do that anymore. With the big return down the line. And Wendy, once again, we see DeHaan and Fay up at the net with Eric Fay over there on the left-hand side hitting pretty much all the overheads. Big forehand there by Benitez. You know, and for a lot of people out there watching, you know, they may be wondering, you know, why wouldn't Fay and DeHaan switch sides? And, you know, I just think for them as a team, I think Eric Fay has a lot more variety in his overhead, a little bit more spin. I like the length of DeHaan up at the net, cutting off volleys. You know, but again, we're seeing a lot of big shots coming out of the side of Castro and Benitez with a match point here.
Good read there by Eric Fay.
Deciding point.
Sudden death here. Sudden point.
Yep. And here we go, match,
a match
point
point
number
again.
2 for Benitez and Castro.
Oh, wow. He read that well.
Game, set, and match. Benitez.
Yes, he did, Wendy. He was standing at the service line before Eric hit it.
Great play. Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Good play.
Wendy, let's take a look here at the match stats brought to you by Court Director. You know, again, I mean, kind of what we've been talking about. You know, Benitez Castro won 51% of the 51 points, which was 73%, to only 27% by DeHaan and Fay. You know, and again, I don't think DeHaan and Fay played poorly. You know, I think they made some unforced errors that were not in the best of times. But I also think a lot of that had to do with Benitez Castro playing a pretty clean, almost flawless match. Would you agree, or what else would you say?
Absolutely agree. I think when your opponents are playing that flawless of a game, it puts pressure on you to try and create some bigger opportunities, and can end up with a few extra errors, unforced errors than you would like, and I think we saw that. I mean, Benitez and Castro were just they were just controlling the points from the first point on.
Yeah, and again, I said it earlier on. It seemed like DeHaan and Fay had trouble putting pressure on Castro and Benitez, and you know that makes it tougher winning points, winning matches. So if you're out there watching, stay tuned. We have a lot more action coming to you from the Rocky Mountain Throwdown out in Arapahoe Tennis Club. Next matches coming up will be 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the semifinals. All right, so stay tuned with us, and we hopefully will see you soon. Wendy, thank you so much, and we'll see you later on today.
Thank you, Dave. See you later.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Hi, I'm Diana Williams, and I'm an APTA umpire. I came to the Chicago Charities last year and watched all of the women's matches and saw that there was mostly men. In fact, all men doing the umpiring. So I thought, well, let me see what this is like and see if I can maybe make a go of it. It worked out great. The players were amazing, so supportive, and APTA has been amazing in helping me get prepared for this. I'm doing some practice matches, and it's really been an amazing experience. And I'll tell you, there is no better seat to watch a match than in that umpire's chair, where at the end of the point, nobody knew who was serving, what the score was, and who was ahead. And fortunately, I had an iPad in front of me, which gave us all that information. What the score was, who was serving, and what the match score was. So a way to increase your involvement with paddle would be to become an umpire. I would encourage you to reach out to the APTA. They will provide you with all the information and support that you need so that you can get started as an umpire.